Hang tight a second.
It can happen anywhere. We heard sound.
What's up, guys? So today is the 14th of February, 2018. Sorry, this is a little shaky. I just did this on the fly because I was working on some stuff on my computer. So as of 2:35 Eastern Standard Time today, there was a shooting at a high school, and I actually grabbed up the chart. I'll insert it here. Alright, for the present houses at this moment, we have Ceres in the first house. Essentially, this is going to bring some sort of encouragement to resolve the quote-unquote issue at hand with what transpired here, obviously. There's some sort of word that they were doing potential drills like 6 weeks or so before this incident actually happened. Clearly, they need to work on that. We have nothing in the 4th house, which that's associated with the home anyway. In the 7th house, repercussions of what's going on. We have Black Moon, Lilith, and Pluto in there, so that signifies death. And primarily death over, domination, shooting. And we have a trauma signature still going on. We still have Vulcan, the Sun, Juno, Hygeia, Mercury, South Node, and the Moon, all in Aquarius in the 8th house of death. And the other present house, we have Uranus conjunct Eris and Pallas. So Uranus and Eris in Aries conjunction has been notorious and a synchronistic pattern that has been present in a lot of terrorist acts or these sorts of things like massacres in general. The one thing that pisses me off about this is that we look at the past houses here. The past houses, the 3rd house is ruled by Virgo, and just with what's in the polarity house, it insinuates that there was some sort of choice to not exercise proper discernment or articulate information about this, insinuating that potentially they had a heads up about this sort of thing. And then we look at, again, the past house for the 6th house here, that's the mundane. There's some sort of animosity or some sort of malefic issues, primarily with the student involved. So it would insinuate that maybe he's kicked out of school, or he was being bullied or abused or something of that extent. I'm not justifying anything, that's just what the precursors looks like. And then we look at the 9th house, the MC's Pisces, so this came out of nowhere. People were completely unaware and caught off guard. And we're about to go into Pisces season, as a matter of fact, so everybody's like in a fog again. And fascinatingly enough, we have Neptune conjunct with Chiron in Pisces as well in the 9th house. So what the conclusive thing is going to be is this is going to be chalked up to mental illness. This kid either has mental illness or it's going to be entirely blamed on mental illness in general. And the only other thing I'd like to point out too is Hades is in Cancer. So the United States chart's actually in the sun sign is Cancer. So a lot of any planets that would be, or points that would be in the sign of Cancer could be manifesting as the actual narrative of the government or the state in general. So it made me almost violent when simultaneously they barely even have information on how many people are wounded, if they've recovered everyone. They don't even have the full details of all that. And the cops are, I guess, barely catching the shooter now. And there's already somebody on the Senate floor talking about what they need to do about this. So this is what kills me. There's some sort of stipulation on, you know, a local level, either school or whatever, or county level, that has already, you know, been aware of this person being a potential hazard or threat. And every single time I see this in a chart, it, like clockwork, there's always some sort of senator, congressman, or some fucker that immediately comes forward and just pisses all over the, you know, the people that are actually, that weren't aware that this was actually going to happen, that didn't understand that the threat was there, and start using, you know, basically overshadowing the actual, you know, the shock and trying to accept and cope with the tragedy and get information and shit by clogging up, you know, news feeds with what we need to do to get better about this. We need to take guns away. And Hades is basically, it is the devil. That's how you translate it. The 12th house is attributed to conspiracies and collective cohesive secrets, primarily with government and organizations, that sort of thing. So a cooperative, because the 8th house is supposed to be associated with self-secrets, the 12th house is collective secrets. So, yet again, and plutocracy, by the way, Capricorn, the polarity of where, you know, Hades is the 7th house of others. So, I'm not saying that the senators or whatever are directly, you know, involved in some sort of conspiracy, but somewhere on the local level or at the school level, they already knew this, because the schools are actually, you know, federalized, and there's a huge overreach, aka a lack of actual, you know, people who are in the actual, you know, faculty or whatever to execute some sort of discernment and or potentially decide, hey, we're going to change procedures, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that, because they have to answer to federal levels or superintendents or whatever like that. That's primarily the issue that's going on here. And the senators and the congressmen and all the government officials, more or less, the swamp that's left, is well aware the repercussions and the severe neglect or damage that is done by just doing a massive blanketing overreach federalization of anything. And they continue, instead of actually fixing that problem, to perpetuate that the problem is to find a way for there to be more intervention and further contain individual citizens. The only thing that's beneficial is that Ceres is technically still within a conjunction to the North Node in Leo. And that's teetering on the first house and the second house. So, the second house represents future. And hopefully this won't take too long for this to be resolved. And, sorry, I'm trying not to go psycho. Because I'm tired of I'm tired of the victim bullshit with people that have no interest in actually resolving fucking problems, and then continuing to project and perpetuate that they are huge advocates for solutions, and then try to justify their quote-unquote, you know, personal agendas with people's lives. And they're trying to get a count of who's dead. Well, the sun's in the 8th house of death, Venus is in the 8th house of death, the moon is in the 8th house of death as well. In all honesty, it looks as if whoever the kid was trying to kill, he killed him. So I would assume that there's multiple fatalities. So I know there's a teacher dead at least, and from the looks of it, it was partially like he just had a bunch of hatred for the school in general, but he definitely was out to kill some actual classmates and peers. So there's that. Good luck. And sorry for your loss for Anybody who has yet to hear from their kid, they're probably dead. I'm sorry.